Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I would like to thank the organizing team for giving me the chance to be part of such an awesome experience. My name is Nefeli Chatziioannidou. I'm an economist, a social entrepreneur, and the last 8 months member of the Hellenic Parliament. I would like to share with you that I could have never imagined when I started my first social enterprise called Code It Like a Girl, trying to close the gender gap in female representation in the STEM field, that I would be here today with such exceptional women in AI. Today, in the dynamic era of genetic artificial intelligence, women not only make significant strides, but actually reshape the landscape of innovation and discovery. As the field continues to evolve at a rapid age, women's contributions are increasingly pivotal, bringing diverse perspectives, talents, insights to the forefront of GenAI research, development, and applications. So we will have today the chance to discuss it further with our exceptional speakers. Today with us is Ms. Eve Psalti, Senior Director at Microsoft Azure Artificial Intelligence, ex-Head of Strategic Platforms at Google. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mrs. Elena Chatziathanasiadou in the Recruitment and People Programs at OpenAI. Welcome. Dr. Nika, AI Product Lead at Google, founder at AI Product Academy. And Mrs. Elena Pittarokoili, Education and Data Science at Stanford, Analytics Engineer at Age of Learning. Welcome all. I would like to welcome you and give you 1 minute, although I think that 1 minute for your background is very short, to try to tell us a little bit more about yourself. Would you like to start?
Sure. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's great to be here. It's great to see the men in the audience, which is great because it's a collaborative effort. So my name is Eve Psalti. I'm originally Greek, obviously, but I've been in the US since '95 in the technology kind of like spectrum for like 20 plus years. I started when I was 10. I've worked in a couple of enterprise companies, like large companies, the last 6, 7 years in the AI space. And I'm delighted to be here talking about GenAI from the perspective of diversity and the importance of having women in the space. So I'm really, really delighted to be here.
We can wait. Ms. Chatziathanasiadou?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I'm Elena. I went to the US when I was 17, actually, to study economics and psychology at Berkeley. And then I kind of stayed there. I didn't expect to stay in the US until now. I first worked at Genentech for a couple of years in the people programs learning and development space. And then I found OpenAI after reading a blog post, and was their first recruiter, and I've been there ever since, and it's close to my 6th year anniversary at OpenAI, so it's a pretty special month for me, actually, and delighted to be here with these incredible women.
Amazing. Thank you very much for being here. Dr. Nika?
Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this panel. It's amazing to hear about the backgrounds. It's just great. So I'm based in the Bay Area, and it's a great opportunity to meet people based in the Bay Area that we've never met before, so this is good. So I got into AI 12 years ago when it was just an elective course I chose on my master's degree, and I was saying I was in AI before it was cool. The master's got turned into a PhD in machine learning, funded by Google. I've been at Google for 9 years, and I spent 2 years at Meta. And I've always built AI-powered experiences. So anything that has to do with users interacting with AI to improve their day-to-day life. At the same time, I also founded the AI Product Academy, and I teach AI product management because I'm so passionate about people getting into this space and leveraging AI to solve user problems.
Thank you, and we will have time to dive even more into details about that in a while. Hello.
Yeah, hi. I'm very glad to be part of this discussion of this panel. I happen to know all the panelists because they're either my friends or my mentors, so I'm very happy to be part of that. My story begins in Crete. I was born and raised there, and then I continued my studies in Athens in management science and technology. I started working as a data scientist at PwC. I developed my technical skills, but as you already know, you can apply your technical skills in anything you care about. And I knew that I mostly care about education, so I focused on tech in education. That's why I went to Stanford to study education data science, where we realized that we can use tech and data to solve problems in the educational sector. After my graduation, I started working at Age of Learning. It's one of the most well-funded educational technology companies in the US, and we create software products for early childhood for public high schools in the US. And I'm happy to be here and share more later.
We're very happy because, as you understand, we have the right people to discuss about women in GenAI. So I would like to ask you, Mrs. Psalti, you are a woman with over 20 years of experience in driving innovation and growth across multiple industries. What are the latest statistics and reports regarding the representation of women in STEM and in AI?
Yeah, that's a great question because I feel it's a mixed bag. So we have come a long way, but we're not there yet. And that's because when you look at the latest kind of like surveys, you'll see that it's less. We find less than 30% of women choose to be in STEM fields. And then when you look at data science, which is at the core of AI and Gen AI, this number drops to like 18%, which it's kind of like going the wrong direction. At the same time, because I look at the ICs, the individual contributors, but also I look at the leaders as well. From a leadership standpoint, we see, like I think McKinsey had a recent study that said that 1 in 5 executives is a woman in tech companies, which is like you can argue whether this is a good number or not a good number. It depends how this grows. The positive, though, because I want to end up with, I'm an optimist by nature, so I want to end with a positive stat. On the positive side, 8 in 10 companies have at least one woman in their executive board, which is a start, because I feel we need practitioners as women in the GenAI space, but we also need the executives to set the right vision, the right strategy, and start to influence these things down the line.
Let's hope that this pace will be more rapid the following years. Mrs. Chatziathanasiadou, you have work experience in various industries as well. Can you share examples of AI applications that have changed the way you or other professionals work?
Yeah, oh my God, so many. I feel like in general, in my day-to-day, like especially in recruiting, we get so much volume of applications. And with tools like ChatGPT, we're able to speed up the process of like reviewing, like the tons of applications that we get, searching keywords. And it hopefully in the future will help reduce the gender bias as well, and any type of bias that is unconscious during the application review. Also, like when you're thinking about it also from the candidate perspective, we've definitely heard a lot of candidates creating their own custom chat GPTs in order to help them prepare for interviews or basically help them write their resumes or cover letters, and even just answer their applications in the box. So from my perspective as well, when I'm writing any type of proposal, I can use ChatGPT and even preparing for presentations or panels like this one.
So you're optimistic as well, I think. We're a very optimistic panel.
Definitely.
Have to be.
Dr. Nika, you're recognized globally as one of the foremost AI educators, boasting over 10 years of hands-on experience in developing AI products for industry leaders. In your opinion, why is diversity important in AI development and research?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Very often AI systems are built with data that reflect the biases of people that built them. This is why you need a diverse team to call out these biases and say, hey, this is not right. And when we say diversity, we don't just mean gender. Diversity means background, experiences, walks of life. Whenever I interview people for, to join Google and Meta, I love when they say, hey, I was in management, and then I went in biology, and then I discovered AI. The more diverse the background and experiences, the best, because these people are building for diverse people as well, so we cannot just rely on it. A great example that's not AI related is the very first iPhone. I don't know if anyone had owned it, but it was not built for female hand or smaller hands. You just needed 2 hands to type. It's because it was built just for men that usually had bigger hands. So you need diverse people to build for diverse people.
So you believe that AI is more inclusive?
I do.
You do. Good, thank you. So, Mrs. Pittarokoili, as you state at your job bio, you're committed to helping humanity achieve its fullest learning potential. How do you believe inclusivity can be effectively integrated into the development and deployment of GenAI, ensuring that diverse perspectives and voices are considered to address biases and foster equitable outcomes?
I love this question, and I loved your points. We have biases not only in gender, but also in race, in everything. So we need to make sure that these stereotypes are handled. So I will start with a story. During my Stanford years, I took a course in AI and NLP, and we had a final assignment. So one of the options was to create a new LLM, a small LLM, or to fine-tune an existing frontier model. But also, the other option that was very interesting to me is that you could choose to create a data set, a benchmark data set, that will be used to evaluate these models. So it was equally important, according to my professor, who is a top voice in AI, that building an LLM is equally important to creating the data sets that will be used to evaluate these LLMs. Because everyone is celebrating their math capabilities, their reasoning capabilities, but we never talk about, okay, how bias-free is their output? I've never seen many articles comparing the top models saying, oh, this is more bias-free than the other one. We should go for the other one. So yeah, my point is that we should create more data sets, benchmark data sets that will evaluate these models based on these biases in gender, race, all the stereotypes. And we should make them, if possible, not publicly available, because many models are trained on these data sets. So using these data sets as metrics is not very accurate. And also, we should start defining the best models as not only how good they are at math and reasoning, but also how bias-free they are.
Do you believe that we have the know-how and the knowledge how to do that now?
Yeah, some datasets exist, like Why No Bias, that talks about, like, if you say a lawyer, does the AI model say he or she? So these kind of examples, and we test these models. But as I said, most of them are publicly available. So we don't know whether they are included in the training of these models or not.
Thank you. So all of you participate in programs or companies or foundations that actually help others reach their full potential. Mrs. Psalti, you are part of the WIG Global Studios. Can you tell us a little bit more about this foundation run by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs?
Sure, absolutely. I'm very passionate about helping other women create their own companies, get access to the right funds, the right networks, and I do this on the side. It has nothing to do with my full-time job, but it's an AI kind of like based organization. It's a non-profit, and we basically work with a network of female startup CEOs across the US, but we have collaborations with Greece and with other countries as well. And we create programs, we generate resources, a platform that is AI-based that helps female startup CEOs or founders to get access to the right trainings, get access to kind of like resources on how to write their business plan, how to do a balance sheet, how to create a presentation for a VC or an accelerator. And then once we kind of like, get them to that stage, then we connect them with the right funding third party so that they can continue to grow their companies. So it's basically leveling the play field, because we've seen that there is an informal kind of network that among men or more representative groups, because it's not a binary thing. So we work not only with women, but with less represented groups to make sure that they have equal access to funds and resources as they expand their business.
And do you believe that soon we will reach a point where all this foundation won't be needed for a specific gender, but it will be open to all?
Absolutely, yeah. First, because I think, it's not a binary thing, but also it's not only kind of like a situation we see with female founders. We see this with less represented groups.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Chatziathanasiadou, your current position is at OpenAI at Recruiting and People Programs. Can you please provide us with a range of candidate characteristics, not for a specific position, that can thrive in GenAI now? And do you believe that these characteristics will change over time?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think at OpenAI, we really value potential, and we don't only focus on the traditional academics, like the typical degrees. And so we are really big on taking bets on undiscovered talent that is high potential. And I think that will be the future. And so thinking more broadly about what is the current skill set, but also the ability to learn and grow and adapt with change. Because, coding may be really important today, but with our generative AI models, maybe that will be a skill that, won't be as necessary. And so thinking about how can we continue to grow and our ability to learn, adapt, collaborate with interdisciplinary teams, because the mindset of growth will be what will keep us going and allow us to continue to learn and adapt with this changing world and learn how to use this technology, really.
And what you say, I found out today discussing with participants in this summit that they feel more close to AI because of that, because they feel that if they're lacking the tech background, they still have access to this amazing, to the future actually, through AI. So the future seems very positive especially for new generation. Dr. Nika, you mentioned at the AI Product Academy website that all product managers will be AI product managers in the future. That is a very interesting statement, actually. And can you tell us a little bit more about the Academy?
Yes, absolutely. So people keep asking me and they say, hey, is my role going to get replaced by AI? And the answer is no. But people in your role that leverage AI will replace you if you do not leverage AI. And I keep talking about this because I see people that are kind of resisting understanding, the AI tools and how to build custom GPTs and all these things. And they realize at some point that they're falling behind. So I realized that, there are all these new skills we need to acquire. And I'm in product management. And I kept teaching at various universities. I'm an adjunct lecturer in a couple of them, and then I realized, you know what, I believe so passionately about these new skills that you need to have that I'll found an academy. So I believe that nowadays, people that thrive need to have a multidisciplinary direction. And I'm very technical. I did a PhD in AI, but then I joined Google as a product manager. And then eventually I realized, wait, I need to leverage my background with my role. And once I realized I could do this, I got into AI product management. And it's an amazing domain. It's really helped me throughout my career for 12 years. And so I started creating courses. I've trained 4,000 people. I've certified them. And I just love being an educator as a side job, of course, aside of Google. So yeah, we've also partnered with 100 mentors. For anyone that's interested in learning more about the trainings, let us know.
And is it open for everybody? What is the background for someone if someone wants to join the AI Academy product?
Yeah, it's open for everyone. All we're asking for is passion about AI and just being willing to challenge yourself just a bit.
Perfect. Mrs. Pittarokoili, as a woman working in age of learning, how do you see GenAI shaping the future of educational technology and its potential impact on enhancing learning experiences for children across different age groups and backgrounds?
Very interesting topic. AI and education is very, very hot. The whole day tomorrow is focused on that, so we will talk more about that tomorrow, but I can start today by saying that we expect that education will be one of the key areas where AI will have an impact on the world, because these frontier models and AI, the changes that they bring, almost force an educational form. So it's inevitable that we will see changes. And I will start by saying that the first changes we have seen, and we will continue seeing, is in the way that teachers work, in the teachers' workflows first, because it's the low-hanging fruit. We have more safety implications when it comes to students. So we've seen many teaching assistants to help teachers create content. And what you said earlier, this technology is closer to the people because they don't have to be tech savvy. And most of the teachers may not be tech savvy. I happen to have two of them in my family. Both my parents are teachers. And one day, my father called me saying, "Elena, ChatGPT is on fire. I've been playing with it all day." So it was so interesting to me that these people will start playing with these tools and they will use it to make their workflows more efficient. And when I say more efficient, I'm not saying that instead of serving 30 students, they will serve 100. We don't want them to serve 100. We want them to focus on inspiring students, spark motivation, help them find their true calling. But we also need AI literacy training for these teachers. And I know that 100 Mentors and the Tipping Point in Education are doing incredible work by educating teachers of what these tools are. And it's a program funded by Microsoft that they're doing all this job, and they have trained more than 1,100 teachers, 100 teachers in Greece. So these are the changes in the teacher's part. But we'll also see more and more changes in the student's part. It's a bit more difficult because people are more cautious, and they're rightfully cautious about it because we have safety issues and we need to put some more guardrails. But if you want me to guess, I would say that learning will be more project-based as we go. So we'll see many private tutors that will help them brainstorm about their project. They will help them collaborate with their peers and get feedback before they go to the teachers and they get the final feedback, so that their learning is more enhanced. They are empowered by these technologies to learn more efficiently.
And I believe that what you said about training the teacher is very important, because especially here in Greece, discussing about AI with teachers, they are afraid that students misuse AI during their projects, and they're actually afraid and cannot be able to give it as a tool to their students. So we need to train the teachers in order to be able to follow the students, because usually students are one step in advance than the older generations.
And if I may add, we also need to think the way, and we change the way that we teach. Because there is a dramatic evolution that is happening in the AI space. We can't continue teaching like we used to 100 years ago, which is what we see in the education system. And it's not only in the US, we see, it's not only in Greece, we see it in the US, we see it in a lot of places. But I think I loved your thing about growth mindset, because we really need to adopt all of us this kind of concept, because every industry will change. And I think we need to be the agents of that change.
And usually industries lead how the education must be transformed in order to follow the progress of the next generation of careers and industries. So thank you very much for this round of questions. Now we will move to a round of questions more reflecting, let's say. So Mrs. Psalti, a more personal question. Looking back at your career, what is one thing you wish you had known when you started?
Yeah, that is difficult, because it's been so far away, I can't even remember. No. I would cheat and say two things, if I may. So the first one, I think it's very important for women, because I think we all, especially people my age, like we grew up in a sense like, oh, the picture of a good girl, like, oh, you gotta be good, which means you can't break things, you can't be wrong. And the mentality, I think, especially me in the early age, kind of locked me up in a situation where I was afraid to take big risks. At the end, I did. I went and did things that were very orthogonal to the way that I was brought up and what other people or my peers were doing. But I feel it's important to say this, that in order to do something creative, innovative, break the mold, you got to break things. And I think we need to be okay with failing, with breaking things, and allow ourselves and our peers to actually do this, and encourage each other to do this. And I love the concept of a hackathon, because it creates the environment for people to come and experiment and learn from each other, and it's very organic. And, but at the end of the day, you don't know if it's going to work. And that's the basis of innovation. So that's the first bit that I feel very passionate about. The second one is something that I feel a lot of people think they do, but they don't do it right. And I was doing this at the beginning of my career. Now, I think the last 10 years I smartened up. But in the beginning, I think the notion of networking was like, oh, I'm going to make friends, I'm going to meet people, I'm going to talk, I'm going to go to this association here or there. Which is fine, but it's not enough. I think you have to be very intentional. You have to seek the right mentors. The mentors need to come from different backgrounds. You have to have a plan in order to collect these individuals that might or might not support you, help you, mentor you down the line. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. And also you have to create win-win relationships. It's not something that you always take. What I do now, basically, which I learned the hard way, is to give first, to give unconditionally, to offer support, help, whatever. And then this way, you also see the individuals and the groups that realize this, and they are worth to work with and partner with. So seek the right mentors, network intentionally, and break stuff.
Amazing, amazing. And can I ask you, when did you start realizing the first part of your answer?
It took a while. It took a while because I think people from my generation, we were kind of trained to not fail. We were not very graceful in failing, and a lot of times I think we were reverting to avoidance, not to fail, which is absolutely the wrong thing to do. I don't recommend it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your sincerity. Mrs. Chatziathanasiadou, AI is definitely the future, but how do you envision the future of AI, and what opportunities exist for women to contribute to this evolution?
Yeah, I guess I would hope to see more women in leadership roles and mentors, women to mentor other women through education, to be able to take more risks. And I would love to see women being part of research and development and shaping policy and regulation in AI, because that is a topic that will become and has been becoming very, very crucial in the now and in the future as more AI development happens. And I think one other area I'm really excited about is just the idea of augmenting creativity in the world. Specifically, I think there's just so much opportunity for women to contribute their unique perspectives in the creative arts, dance, music, and then being able to share that perspective through telling stories in this world and using AI as a tool to do that.
Do you believe that women are more open to tell their stories now?
Definitely. I think with AI, there will be more enablement, more access, and we're already seeing more women leaders kind of step up in the world and speak up too.
Thank you very much. Dr. Nika, there are a lot of young women listening to us right now, and not only women, but what is your advice for young women aspiring to build a career in GenAI?
Very good question. The first thing they need to do is understand what you don't know. So figure out if AI overwhelms you, what part of it is it? How does it work? What you can do with it? The algorithms. So understand what you need to learn, then figure out how to learn it. So essentially break the problem down into little pieces and tackle them. I echo everything they said about mentorship, but I want to add, and mentorship, well, when I was younger, I thought mentorship is like a job posting. So I thought you could ask someone, hey, would you be my mentor? But mentorship is organic and it's more natural. Mentorship is just seeing someone outside and asking a question like, oh, hey, what would you think about this? and then they answer and they give you advice. That's mentorship. Don't be afraid to just reach out to people on LinkedIn and just ask a question that's very targeted, like, hey, I saw you did this in your career, or here's my story, what would you do? You'd be shocked by how many people would respond to you. So don't be afraid to seek out mentors, figure out exactly what you don't know, and be ready to pivot. Things are going to change from week to week, from day to day. You need to embrace an experimental culture and a more open mindset that, 5 of the 10 ideas you'll come up with are just not going to work out, and that's fine. And in big tech companies, even failing in that way means succeeding. So if I say, hey, I'm going to come up with a hypothesis that specific users will want this specific product, and that turns out not to be the case, that's still progress. I'm still answering questions. So don't be afraid to fail, move fast. And also, if anyone ever comes your way and says you cannot do it and you shouldn't do it, just prove them wrong. Like this. I'm saying this, okay, full transparency. I was younger. My first degree was in shipping finance. And I said, hey, I want to go into computer science and AI. And someone said, how are you going to make the leap from shipping finance to AI? And I did it. And they actually came and found me and they said, hey, congratulations. I'm sorry I had said that before. So if anyone tells you cannot do something, just get out there and prove them wrong. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Long story.
And I would like to ask you also, do you think that new generation is more open to failure and seeking for help?
Yes, and this is because we're more vocal about being vulnerable. I feel that when I was younger, the role models I would see were these like very powerful figures, whereas now the role models I see are human that have families that, sometimes they just go to work and they're like, today is not my day, it's not going to work out. So vulnerability has really helped me.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Pittarokoili, how each one of us perceives success is different. You're very young but very successful at your area. However, how do you define success in your career, and how has this definition evolved over time?
Yeah, you're right. This has changed a lot since my first years in my tech career. But right now, I find professional success when I'm working. I'm so absorbed and motivated that I never look at my clock. I'm like, it's just smooth. I just work and I am absorbed in what I'm doing. And this often happens when I'm coding. And don't get me wrong, I love developing my people's skills. I love interacting with people. But I find beauty in writing code. And by the way, I encourage people and students to learn how to code because it's a great way to learn how to think. But it didn't start like that. It didn't seem like beauty when I was in my first years of my career. I had to work a lot. I had to practice my technical skills a lot. And in the first years, when people were asking me, oh, really? You're coding? Oh, you're a data science, so you're writing code or something? I was questioning whether this is what I need to do. I was questioning whether I like it. I was questioning whether I will ever be good at it. And after many years that I had other goals to go to certain companies or certain universities, now I realized that I do really like it. And I know I can be good at it. But it took me many years of practice and hard work, and I built on my confidence. And this is when you know that you gave it a real shot. You gave a tech career a real shot. And now when people are asking me, oh, really, you're coding? I know they're not questioning my capabilities. It's about the society that is not familiar with women in these job positions. And when I get these questions, I'm trying to educate the person who is next to me that women can be in these positions, in these AI or job positions, and they can be really good at it. And we should not take it personally if these questions come up. We should just be there and, with our examples, educate the society and the world.
Thank you very much. And do you believe that maybe when a woman starts, for instance, if she faces that kind of criticism, that it's not maybe personal, can be a reason for her to stop?
Yeah, it is a reason to stop, even especially when you don't anticipate that you will get these questions. That's why when I'm talking to girls, I'm trying to prepare them that they will get these questions, and it's not about them. It's not about their capabilities. They should understand that we should make an effort first to change the world, and then it will be not women in GenAI, but just people in GenAI.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
Thank you all very much. And I would like to give you, again, only 1 minute. If you want to comment on something or make a statement, I mean, we can stay here 2 hours and it won't be enough. But if you want to add something before passing the microphone to the crowd, if you have questions.
I asked my daughter and I said, what do you think mommy does for a living? And she said, computers. I'm like, yeah, that's right. It was a beautiful, just a single word. I'm like, yeah, you got it. That's what I do. And it's the most natural thing. So that's nice.
Amazing. Someone else?
She's 4. Yeah,
She's
she
4.
said that. Yeah.
Is she into computing?
Yes.
Into computers?
She's learning Scratch. It's a program by MIT, drag and drop.
Really good.
It's amazing how natural it is for kids. So for her, it's the most natural thing. And yeah, in the future, it's going to be people that know how to code. There's no more women or men.
Thank you very much. I believe that after hearing all this, we can be positive that the future seems a lot more diverse, included and equal, and I hope that in some years from now, we will not need a separate panel about women in GenAI, but it will be generally GenAI, that it will be inclusive for all of us. So thank you very much for today, and if you have questions to ask, now is the time. We have 5 minutes left.
It's not as much as a question as a case study. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I have 2 kids that are on the spectrum, what we used to call Asperger's. So one of them is advanced in maths, the other in language, and I used GenAI to tailor-made the lessons they have in school for them. So that helps a lot. Also, it's the way I learned what I don't know, because I'm neurotypical. The way they perceive the world is so much different than me. And I also use it to advance my skills, because I used to be a graphic designer in a printing office, and now I'm moving on to digital marketing. So for me, it gave me back confidence, lots of knowledge, and also it has helped me to understand what AI cannot do and what is my job to do with those kids, how to teach them to have a moral compass, discernment, trust their intuition, having fun, be curious. So they do use AI. So when we have debates at home, it's what Socrates would say through the character AI app that they're using. So we have a lot of fun. But I'm so grateful, because 2 years ago I wouldn't be able to do all that. And now I can tailor-make the world to them while preparing them for what's coming. And that's another responsibility we have as parents. We have no idea what we're living now. How on earth can we, plan ahead for what they're gonna face? So I think by these few stuff that I can teach them, I prepare them as good as I can. It was a privilege to listen to all of you, and we were smiling from the very first word until the last. It's an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for sharing
you.
your story.
Nefeli, I think we found a candidate for υπέροχες γυναίκες.
For sure. And thank you very much, because the crowd is also very powerful. So as I said, we could stay here for hours and share all this experience. Is there any other question? Yes, 2 more questions.
Thank you. I'm Irini, and from Papastratos, and with a colleague of mine, we took the courage to bring a personal initiative, an AI initiative. So what I noticed today, and this panel was very inspiring. So the moderator, first of all, you did very targeted question, and it looks how, you educated yourself about what each woman here does, and it was very on point. And then each one of you in the panel, you acknowledge each other and then make a point to what the other said, and it was a very inclusive discussion. So my question here now is, you are in, at least how it was some years ago, in a male-dominated field, but you show this more caring attitude and inclusivity. So how does a woman in AI and in data can stay true to themselves?
Thank you very much for the question. Who would like to start?
I think it's very important to call out if you feel uncomfortable in the workplace. There have been instances where I did not feel included and I just called it out. And every single time people corrected it, people fixed it. So we need to advocate if we're uncomfortable or if we see something around us. So that's number one. Number two, I never let me down, get to me. Sorry, I never let it get to me. So if it happens, it's not gonna make me care less about AI. It's not gonna make me wanna switch careers. I just stay up, keep moving forward, and hope for a change. And I advocate for it. So we're here because we wanna make the change, and we are actually moving one step forward. So this is kind of the comments I have.
Can I ask you something? Is it because it's part of your character, or did you build on it during the years? Or both, maybe?
I think it's because I'm so passionate about the field. I'm not gonna let anyone stop me. I think that's what it is.
Perfect.
I would agree, and I would add that you don't have to even change. I think in the past generations, women thought that they would, aspire to have a male kind of persona in order to be successful or, really included. But I think, there is power in your voice and what you bring to the table. And and having passion for what you do is absolutely a key driver to shut them up.
Thank you for saying the words I was thinking. Exactly.
And this is a safe space.
I also wanted to share a personal example, which is I still have butterflies when I work out, every day, and I laugh a lot as a person. And I remember in my first year at OpenAI, I was like, are people going to take me less seriously because I laugh a lot? And I think I overcorrected a little bit when I was running meetings because I felt like I had to. And then I realized I kind of lost myself and I missed my version, who I am as Elena. And I brought it back. And I think it's really it's not going to be a perfect journey, but just kind of noticing, trying to be self-aware and realizing who you want to be and shaping that person, cultivating that person, and coming back to yourself whenever you do get those hiccups is really important. So, yeah.
Would you like to add something?
I loved your point. And it's not only the behavior, it's also the appearance. I think I fell into this trap and when I was surrounded by engineers and tech people, I started wearing more hoodies and jeans because I wanted to look like them. I didn't want to question whether I'm coding or not. But I was like, that's not me. I like being dressed in a more girly way, and that's fine. You should just keep who you are, how you behave, how you dress, and that's it. You don't have to be bossy. You don't have to be more hoodie kind of style to thrive in this world, in this tech world.
Thank you very much. Do we have time for one more question?
Hello, I'm Joris, and I want to ask a question of, when you made the choice to make this bold move and go there in the US, was it a voice in your head that said, just go? Did you have a mentor, or how did you make the decision to go there?
Is this for any of us?
Yeah, feel free to just...
I think I told myself, so the opportunity came up. So full transparency, I was hired by Google in London, and Google in London is considered a satellite office because the HQ is in California. So within a year, you can transfer if there is a role that you get invited to fill. And they invited me for a role there. And if I had told myself I'd be there for 8-9 years, I'd freak out. So what I told myself is, I'll do it for a year and see how it goes. So I give myself the opportunity to experience something and then decide. So that always helps me. And it was the best decision I ever made, of course, but all baby steps help me.
I was lucky because there was an educational program in Greece. It was called EduTrip. It no longer exists because the funding was not there. So if anyone has any funding, let me know. We can start it again. And they send 20 students per year to the top universities in the US. So when I was 20, I went to Stanford for a week. And I met all these incredible Greek PhD students, Greek master students, and I realized that you can just apply, and there's a chance you will get accepted. So I became friends with these people there, and then in a couple of years I applied and I went to the US.
From my end, I originally went there for school, so I was not recruited or anything. It was a very bold choice, and it was very intentional. It was a choice for me to do what I wanted to do in in an environment, and I did it in a very creative, not creative way, but I had to I changed 3 universities in order to take advantage of the scholarships that they had and move around. So a lot of risk. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I don't know if I would. But I think I was young and I was crazy and I was just doing things in a very unnatural way. But I don't regret it. I think it's, again, it could have gone very wrong. And in the beginning, I don't think I had the traction that, I think it came after I decided that, what I wanted to do and kind of which direction. That's why I said I regret not having early stage mentors because I thought I can do it by myself, I can prove everybody, whatever, which is like a fallacy, right? So I think with me it was more coincidental and more kind of aggressive from my end. Oh, I'm going to do something crazy and see if it works.
I feel kind of similar in the sense that I also went for undergrad there, and I was the only one from my family to choose to go to the US. I'm the oldest of 4. I have 3 younger brothers, and I remember just being really excited to go to California. And I think I even missed the orientation at Berkeley because I wanted to spend summer here and went undecided. I didn't even know that I wanted to study psychology or economics. I kind of figured it all out as I was there and took many risks and treated it very much like a temporary experience for the learning, and then kind of went with it. And I didn't really have many mentors either because it was really far and there were not many Greeks in California. So I was kind of learning how to swim by being thrown into an ocean. But I did throw myself into that ocean, so I'll give myself credit for that. Mm-hmm.
Thank you all very much for being such an awesome audience, and thank you for your so sincere and powerful answers. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the summit.